I started off playing saxophone and then flute, and then took some piano and a lot of music theory all through high school, and then I went to Capilano College at the time and did the first 2 years of their Bachelor of Music program. And then I decided I actually really did want to be an artist, and that's when I went to electrical school, which might seem counterintuitive to some but wasn't for me. And I sort of made a decision that I was going to focus on writing, and I did that for many, many years, but I always dabbled around, and I always, ever since the beginning, was interested in text and musical conversation. But I've always been interested in the musicality of language and the inherent beat and timing. I think that there's no separation for me between how you deliver text properly in my mind, or in a way like I feel there's so many things about dynamics and timing and space and placement and staccato, like all the rules all apply on both sides of that fence for me. So I've always brought a certain kind of musical sensibility to my live text performance, I think. Well, and it's a very intuitive business, just like coming in on the offbeat is, like you can count it in your head when you're sight reading, but when you really are in the groove, it's because you just feel it. You know when it comes in, and you're listening, and you're listening as much as you're playing. And the same thing goes with text, is like, at some point you need to trust your own intuition and trust your own sensibilities and your own craft. A paragraph is a chord progression when it's done properly, and when you're landing on the one, and you return to the tonic at the end to some degree.
There must be song lyrics in your closet.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
I expect some of those lyrics are going to come out of the closet in the next 10 years.
We'll see. I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of letting it all... I'm just really happy that there's so much music in my life. Like, I'm singing in the choir. I'm playing sax in this really fantastic band. Not only tenor sax, but baritone sax, which is my great dream of my whole life. I got to play it in grade 8 and grade 9, and then I never had the money it's a $16,000 instrument, and I managed to buy one out of the back of a white van in the the back parking lot behind the bank, off Craigslist, and it's not stolen though, as far as I can ascertain. So I got my hands on this baritone saxophone. It's like a childhood dream come true, and the band's doing really well, and the Gender Failure Project went really well, and got this new show going on with John, and he's the perfect guy to work with because he's very patient, and he likes working with sort of like musicians, and that's the nice thing about music, because I don't have any ego caught up in it. I know that I'm not the best at it. That's okay. Like I just want to learn my part that's tasteful and works, and practice it and nail it, and then I'm happy with that. Like, I don't need to be the front man. I got enough front man in other places, so it's a nice relationship that I'm having with music right now. It's a great romance we're having.
Could you speak a little bit about how you and Ray are concentrating on changing the world through pronouns, or the lack thereof?
Well, again, this comes back down to options, and it's hard to describe because you've never, but imagine all of a sudden you got up one morning and everybody just started calling you she. You were just like, oh, ask her what she thinks. Like, it would feel wrong to you, right? It would feel strange. Part of you would feel like, do they see me? Like, is it something I'm doing? And I know it's not the same thing, but I'm trying to get you to understand what it feels like. So she always doesn't, it just doesn't feel like it belongs to me. And I've given up on women's washrooms. I'm just, I've just given up now. So public washrooms, I just go with the men's washroom, as you know, probably. They don't really look at you in there, right? So now the struggle in there is like I have a very keen sense of smell, and you know, so sometimes they could be cleaner. But that could be for, I don't know one single guy who doesn't wish that men's washrooms were cleaner. So I'm not alone in that either, right? So that seems to be, have I given up? Yeah, in a sense I've given up. I've given up on women's washrooms. It just doesn't, it's just and now I'm like actively sort of, you know, part of the crusade for gender neutral bathrooms, which I think are great for a lot of people for lots of reasons.